America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javon live from Seattle, Washington, USA.
Thank you so much for joining me for an amazing session of the Daily African Proverbs. I am excited to be here with you. I am live on YouTube, and I am also live on Clubhouse, and I'm joined here by Marla. Marla, if you can't join me on stage, I love being here every Monday to Friday for the Daily African Proverbs, because this space is important to me. This is like my morning ritual where, through these African Proverbs, I am able to, look into what our ancestors, talked about when it comes to African wisdom. One of the paths to African wisdom is African Proverbs. So if you spend a lot of time with African Proverbs, it means you also need to spend a time with your community so that you can learn, from each other. A lot of the time growing up, I had to be with other people when discussing African Proverbs. And, since I moved to the US, I've always, looked at these Proverbs alone. And when Clubhouse came about, it became an easier platform for me to gather together with the village instead of just posting it on social media, which I did for a while before bringing the Daily African Proverbs to Clubhouse. This has just been a wonderful space, and it feels like the village, in the evenings back in Africa. We used to sit, especially when we visited with my grandmother during the summer holidays or during the December holidays. We used to sit around the fire after dinner. She had a little kitchen where we sat around the fire and just talked about stories, and there were so many proverbs in these stories. And also, my mom, growing up in Manyata in Kisumu, Kenya, I grew up in a polygamist family, and my mother always used proverbs. Whenever you did something good, she used a proverb to, commend you. And then whenever you did something that was also inappropriate, she also used a proverb to reprimand you. So this is part of why, even as a father today, I'm a father of 3 little girls. I use African Proverbs consistently in nurturing my 3 little girls into hopefully being amazing, human beings in the future. So welcome, and we have an amazing proverb from Kenya, and I was supposed to be hosting an amazing friend of mine here. I don't know if he's going to make it. He's traveling, but he was supposed to be our special guest today. I won't mention his name because I don't want to, do that unless he shows up. But the proverb is now at the top of the room on Clubhouse, and it says, "A thread follows the path of the needle." A thread follows the path of the needle. I am live streaming on YouTube as well. So if you are joining me on YouTube, I urge you to subscribe to the channel and push the thumbs up button so that next time we have this conversation, you can join us. YouTube will notify you that, the Daily African Proverbs is happening. And when I looked at this proverb, "A thread follows the path of the needle," it reminded me really about parenting, first of all. Many times the way that I start my day is very important to me. And most of the days lately, because I'm a full-time father, most of the days lately, I have to take all my 3 daughters to school, and how I treat them in the morning determines how they treat each other, in the mornings and the rest of the day. And so, sometimes I don't have a good handle of how I treat them, and I see it throughout the day. I start seeing little pieces of my behavior in them. And then when I treat them in the best way that I can, I also start seeing that in them, in how they treat each other, and also in how they also treat me, you know. Like the oldest one lately, as I don't use the word geez, you know, when somebody cautions you when you're about to do something. Here in America, a lot of people love to say geez when you're under pressure, you know, and I don't like that term. And I've been noticing that the oldest, who is 8, loves saying geez, 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 you know. So I just feel that this proverb applies to parenting quite a bit, but it also applies to politics. Like in the Kenyan context especially, you find that you know, the way that our leaders embrace corruption is something that makes corruption endemic, not only in Kenya, but even if you go further to a place like Uganda, you find that the way the electoral process happens in Uganda, for example, during the last election, is just so, you know, openly, openly unfair that it becomes a culture, it becomes part of a culture. And you find that, you know, countries are borrowing inappropriate electoral processes. You know, countries are borrowing ideas of corruption from each other. And this is what this proverb reminds me about. You know, a thread follows the path of the needle. And as always, I love listening to, you know, perspectives from, you know, everyone that joins me for the daily African proverbs. And I just want to create space because my work here as the host of these sessions is to create space and facilitate, you know, safe and meaningful conversations around this proverb. So I want to hear from you, Alois and Valentine, and also I want to encourage everybody who is in the room with us today, ping in 1 or 2 people, and also share, you know, this conversation, you know, on Clubhouse. There's a way you can share it through the, you know, there's a share button on the bottom left hand side. You can use that to invite people into this conversation. We will be here for exactly 1 hour. So I want to hear from you, Alois. Share with us your perspectives on today's proverb from Kenya. Thank you so much. Okay, Alois, we'll come back to you in a moment. I'll go ahead and invite Valentine to share her perspectives with us. Valentine, could you tap your mic if you hear me? I just want to... Excellent, excellent. Go ahead and share your thoughts on today's proverb. Thank you so much.
Good morning, Simon. Thank you so much for giving me the chance to share my perspective on this proverb. A thread follows the path of the needle. And just for those in the room, I'm also from Kenya, and I'm also from the same tribe as Simon. I think we have crossed paths here quite a few times, but really never had a chance to speak on your platform. So to me, this proverb means, like you said, I would apply it a lot to parenting. As a single mom myself, I have 2 daughters, and I think they watch everything I do. They learn a lot from what I do. And like you said, when they're going to school in the morning, how I begin my day and my energy around them really affects their whole day in school. So I took home science in high school in Kenya, and home science is like one of those classes where you do practicals. You make garments and go show them off during end of school, and you get a grade for that. So I took that and I learned how to cook. And I think that when you're sewing and you just stitch, like let me say a back stitch, when you stitch and the thread goes through the garment, it never goes a different direction. How you stitch that needle is how the thread follows, like literally. So in life, I believe that I have a huge responsibility as a single mom to my daughters to teach them how to treat themselves and then how to treat other people. So whatever I do will follow them for generations to come. So it is imperative that I teach my girls how to uh, assimilate into society, how to treat other people, how to treat themselves, how to expect to be treated. That's how I look at this just the big picture. And I believe that everything we do really follows us and generations to come. And I think that's my perspective on this proverb. I'm done speaking. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're most welcome, Valentine. I truly, truly appreciate your perspectives on this, and I agree as well. With the analogy you shared when it comes to sewing, and I also took home science. In Kenya, that's how I learned how to cook as well. So I could totally relate. I really, really appreciate you being here with us. So stay. I would love to engage you towards the end, so that you can share your closing remarks once we hear from some of the brothers and sisters who are here with us today. Let's hear from Alois. I feel that he's ready now.
Yes, I am. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I was kind of busy. I'm at work, but yeah, I'm Alois Chisango, Alois George. I'm from Tanzania also. I'm from Tanzania. I say also like I'm from Kenya. I'm from Tanzania, and also I have three children. So really, when I when I joined the room and I saw that African proverbs, I mean, I use them a lot, to be honest. I don't think my kids will really get it like the way I was raised. It's kind of different. And I'm not saying that just because, I mean, it seemed like it makes so much sense for me. And I think I agree with both you guys. Go ahead before me when you say that, when you how you start your day, how you do things at home, especially the kids. I never thought that the kids learn so much from us by really look how we interact. And at the same way in the morning, I try to make sure that, before they go to school, there's certain things that we do. And I always kind of have these one-on-one talk just to make sure that, you're going to have a good day. You know what I'm saying? You're going to treat people. So we kind of say these things. We kind of manifest this thing every day just to make sure that no matter what, you know, you're going to have a good day and you're going to make sure somebody have a good day. I'm always good when it comes to put smile on somebody else's face. Mm. So my thing is when it comes to my kids, these are African proverbs. They mean so much to me because Simon say, your mom or your daddy, and especially my mom. My daddy was not so much when it comes to this, but my mom, it's like I can hear her talking to me, about these African proverbs, and it's so many, and they make so much sense to me. So I'm trying to apply them to my kids, so at least they know these things. They still work, you know. How you really start your day, it means so much. The energy that you start with, you know, the joy, the happiness that you have within you, it can spread around your classroom. So yeah, I mean, I'm agree with this, and I'm Lois, and I'm returning the mic.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Alois, for your perspectives. Yeah, this proverb speaks so much about parenting, and I feel that that's the thread now that is going around the room. That's the theme of our conversation based on this proverb. I do want to welcome everyone in the room, from Ayub to Wofa, Nasir, Tracy, Peter, Marla. Thank you all for being here. I want to encourage you to ping in 3 to 5 people to join us for the conversation. Share the link to the conversation outside of Clubhouse. And if you're joining us on YouTube, I encourage you to also share the link to the live stream with your community. And if you're watching this later on in the future, I want you to share with us your comment with what this proverb means to you, so that we can also learn from you and your community, because these proverbs they mean different things to different people. And the more we learn what it means to different people, the better we all become, because for me, this space is about knowledge seekers. People want to learn from each other and then, go out into the world with just a little bit more of African wisdom. So thank you for being here. And now I want to invite my brother Akinsei, who is here with us on stage and also with us on YouTube. Thank you for your continued support. Share with us what your thoughts are in regards to today's proverb from Kenya.
Yes, thank you, Brother Simon, so much for inviting me. And first and foremost, thank you for creating this space, allowing people to come together to be able to share ideas and thoughts about these African proverbs that, like you said, can have various meanings, but in the end, they all have a, an importance to each and every one of us, regardless of our interpretation. So thank you. So the proverb this morning, the thread follows the path of the needle, is a very good one. I too believe it definitely refers to the uh, the I want to say the position or the responsibility of parenting. But then if we think about parenting, parenting is really a metaphor for leadership, right? Where we're guiding young people and we're guiding the next souls and spirits into this realm, into this life, into this plane of existence. And it's our responsibility to uh, help guide them into who they want to be and who we need them to be. Um, I can also look at this proverb in terms of a person who may or may not be a parent, but is certainly birthing something or creating something, right? And being a visual artist myself, I know that your actions have a direct uh, a direct effect on your results, or the results are influenced by your actions, right? And so I at times ask myself when I'm either creating something or I'm getting involved in an organization or some type of mission or purpose that I think is important. I, I ask myself, am I the thread or am I the needle? And many times it takes a certain amount of courage and bravery to be the needle. Yet and still, if you are the thread, you are responsible for not only following the needle and making sure that you're working with the the plan that the needle is set forth, but also being brave enough to ask yourself, do you like where the needle is taking you? If you don't like where the needle is taking you, then you have to change the needle, or you have to change, or maybe you have to become the needle yourself, or you have to find a new needle. You have to find a new path, a new course. And throughout various streams of African philosophy and spirituality, there's always uh, a heroic figure that's the brave one that usually has a cutlass or a machete or or a ada or some type of knife that is clearing the path for others to follow. And in life, I think we have to clear the path for not only our not only ourselves but also for others. So I just want to kind of end on that kind of note there with the idea of all of us needing to be brave in our journeys in life. Be brave not only for ourselves, because once we are brave for ourselves, we find it also has a benefit for the people that we love around us, our community, our family, and our loved ones. So again, thank you, Simon, for allowing me to speak and to share. And I pass the mic back to you. Thank you, everyone.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much for your perspectives there, my brother. Akinsei, it's true. It's true that sometimes we have to create the path for others. And I also loved how you shared that sometimes if the needle is not working for you and you're the thread, you have to if you are the needle and the thread is not working for you, you have to find another thread. And that reminded me of growing up in Kenya. We had to repair a lot of our school uniforms ourselves. We learned how to sew, with our hands. And so, like in my case, I had the same shorts. We used to wear short sleeved shirts and shorts to school every day, but I also had to wash my shorts every day. So I played soccer in it. I did everything in the same short, so that meant that I had to repair it quite a bit. But it was quite frustrating when the thread could not fit in the needle, and also sometimes you had to repair it under pressure because we were many siblings, and sometimes one of my other siblings also needed to repair their uniform, so it was always a matter of learning how to be efficient, learning how to be pricked by the needle, and also learning how to pick another thread. For example, sometime you like my shorts were, I went to different schools. In one school my shorts were brown, and if you have a white thread, it doesn't work with the garment. So you have to find the right thread. It was just a lot of fascinating stories that you just reminded me of. But I want to welcome everyone who is here with us for the Daily African Proverbs. We do this from Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we live stream it on YouTube, and we also live stream it here on Clubhouse. So we are live on YouTube as we speak. For those who are with us on YouTube, thank you for being there with us. It means a lot. Please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And also, if you're here on Clubhouse, I encourage you to follow the African Father in America Club. The African Father in America is also the name of my podcast, where you find this conversation, across all podcasting platforms. About an hour after this conversation, after this room, you will be able to go to Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, and you'll find this conversation there. But also here on Clubhouse, you can find it in the replay if this is the best place that you love consuming content from. So I also want to just give a shout out to everyone in the room here with us, from Hazel to Elliot and Davon and Sarah, Faline. Thank you for being here with us. Feel free to join us on stage. The hand raising is going to be turned off in about 6 to 10 minutes. So this is a good time for you to join us on stage. And I also want to encourage you to ping 3 to 5 people to join us for today's conversation, and also share the room with others, and also clip it. The scissors button, the scissor at the bottom there, allows you to clip pieces of this conversation and share it on Twitter. You can save it on your phone. If you hear something that is inspiring, you can clip it and save it on your phone, and you can enjoy it later on. So thank you again so much. This is a beautiful conversation so far, and now we want to move on to Tracy, who is another amazing contributor to this space. Tracy, share with us your perspectives on today's proverb from Kenya. The proverb says, "A thread follows the path of the needle." Thank you so much.
Thank you, Simon, for allowing me to share. And hello to everyone. Happy Friday. In thinking about this proverb, what comes to mind is where we place our energy, where we place our attention, energy flows. For me, everything is energy. And when I think about just my personal life, and I have a teenage son, I think about the guidance that sharing with him. I also think about um, energy in a way that impacts his life because everything is energy, right? And so emotions are energy in motion. So it's like, where am I placing my attention that is um, really amplifying the energy all around me. And so I think about, okay, how am I guiding my son through life while he can still be his own person in his own human existence, while he's a spiritual being? How is he feeling guided in his own life through his inner knowing? So for me, it's all about energy and guidance and how we are trusting that inner knowing within us so that we continue to follow the thread through life. Thank you. I'm done speaking.
That's beautiful. Thank you very much, Tracy. I completely agree. I completely agree. It's almost what you're saying is almost like, understanding yourself, mastering yourself, which is really, really important. And, as a parent, your children actually know whether you are, nobody really masters themselves fully. We are always in pursuit of self mastery, and our children are always watching us. Like it was being said earlier by Valentine, that our children are always like we are the closest example to what they want to become. And so, with this pandemic, it has also been even extremely important for us to be willing to lean in and just travel the journey of life together with them, because we spend many hours with them, whether we like it or not. So, and anyway, thank you so much. And now we want to hear from Jarrell. Jarrell, thank you for joining us. Share with us your perspectives.
Good day, everybody in the room. Being from the Caribbean, my parents being from Jamaica and all, we have loads and loads of proverbs, just like my African brothers and sisters. But the reality is, in regards to the needle and the thread, the way my perspective of it is, okay, the needle guides, and so you have whether it be the father or the mother or both, they're your needle. You as the children, you're the thread, and they guide you throughout your time here, throughout your lifespan. And obviously, you have occasions when, for whatever reason, children do their own thing. Now, is it a case of you cut the thread and um, and then form your own needle once you turn a parent, um, or do you, because obviously you've spent all these years with your loved ones, and they've, as you said earlier, with the needle and thread, learning how to sew yourself. So you've seen how they've done it. So now you've taken a needle for yourself and you've threaded it, and now you are a father or mother or parents, and you're basically guiding your children the same way. I mean, I will say with this pandemic, um, I spent a lot of time with my children, and yes, there's been occasions when they've turned my hair grey, but but at the same time, it's been a blessing where I could spend time with them and actually talk to them more, because we've had to work from home at stages and so on. Whereas before, you had to commute, spend an hour commuting, spend an hour commuting back. You're at work, so so while you was working at home, you could actually spend 20 minutes or even hours or whatever communicating with them on a different level, and it was eye opening, especially some of the stuff I heard my children say. So in regards to the thread and the needle, um, for me it's just bringing people together, whether it be as a family unit or as a community, because as you know, when you sew, and it's you're bringing you're sewing, if something's torn, you're mending it, you're bringing the material together. So that's how I see the needle and the thread um, analogy. Anyway, thanks for the space, and to everybody, thanks a lot and take care.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome, me brother. Yeah, man. I always love this space because the entire global African family comes to the Daily African Proverbs. And, I've had people from Brazil who barely speak in English, but they love, they have African proverbs in their culture. I've seen people from Argentina, Spain, France, and it's just beautiful that these proverbs brings us together this way. So thank you, Jarrell. And now we want to go to Dr. Wanda, who is an amazing contributor to the Daily African Proverbs. We have a community of people that help us make the Daily African Proverbs possible. And every Friday, like today at 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we gather so that we look at how were the Daily African Proverbs sessions like this week and how should they look like next week. And we also recruit volunteers to help us promote, to help us curate, and Dr. Wanda is one of them. So let me know or let her know if you want to be a part of this community that makes this possible. Dr. Wanda, share with us your perspectives on today's proverb.
Good morning. It's just great to be in the room once again. This is so interesting because I say this proverb quite a bit. Like my younger brother was getting married, and I kept telling him where the needle goes, so goes the thread. And I had no idea it was a Kenyan proverb. So I'm so happy for that. But yeah, I kept telling him that, and as he was getting ready to be married, I just kept saying, where the needle goes, so goes the thread. That's why you have to be a responsible leader for your wife. And just as Jarrell was saying, when you're sewing, you are bringing two things together. And in some instances, you're doing repairs, but in the case of that new marriage, they were building something new. And I just was constantly, letting him know that, there's certain things you have to listen to your wife, get her perspective, and then as you all make the decisions, go together. But because you are the man, you can do some leading. It should be out, but still take her consideration because you're both going together. Because if you it's so even by hand, it's like a rhythm, even or if you have your sewing machine, there's a rhythm to it, and it's like a beat, a tempo that you must keep. And if one or the other is not going the right way, like say if you're sewing and the thread gets stuck, it will break. Or if you're sewing even by hand and the needle gets stuck, it will break. And if either one breaks, there goes your garment, right? You have to start all over. So again, wherever the needle goes, so goes the thread. And I just had put it in the context of a marital relationship, but this is so good hearing the different perspectives, and I'm complete.
Oh, you're welcome. I love how you say it though. Where the needle go, so goes the thread. I love that. And also I love how you relate it to the marriage perspective, and also the story of you speaking to your brother is just memorable. There are things that are like markers. They remind you of this proverb and where you can apply it in your life and in situations. So thank you very much, Dr. Wanda. Let's hear from my brother Joseph Kafunda. I know you're in Namibia, but an amazing brother. Thank you for your support with the weekly travel sessions that we hold here on Clubhouse in the One Vibe Africa Club. Feel free to speak about it as well and share your perspectives on today's proverb. Thank you.
Thank you, Simon. Good day, good day, everyone. Yeah, Simon, thank you for allowing me the space to come on stage so that we can be able to share our daily African proverb for today. Like you said, our weekly session about traveling or the three hidden gems of Africa. It's such an amazing, and because of that, we have seen the positivity and the powerness of intra-Africa travels, where many of our brothers and sisters in the diasporas are looking for packages within the African continent. Just because of that, to be honest, I've received a couple of numbers of requests where people are asking me to guide them within Botswana, or to guide them within Zimbabwe and Zambia as well. So just to the fact that I spoke about the Kaza area. So this is it's showing that there's quite a huge interest besides the pandemic that it's still affecting most of us in travel and tourism. And that is why we started the project of the Pan African project about Walk for Love for Africa. It's going to be a massive movement where we have about 17 countries involved, and that's going to be just in a day where we have to take. It's going to be on the 19th of February next month, where we will have to walk for about 6 to 7 kilometers. Just walk for love for Africa, so that we can tell the people that enough is enough, and we can be able to support those who are in the tourism industry and and hospitality as well, because we have been really taking a punch in the past 2 to 3 years now. So that's basically what we are going to be speaking about it very soon. Coming back to today's daily African proverb, a thread follows the path of the needle. As a tour guide, I always look at these things and try to narrate them with what I do in the field when I see a group of animals walking. I'm going to take a giant of Africa, the elephants. When the elephant walk, they always walk in one line. They know when you mess up that line, that means there is something that is not going to be right on their path. So when they walk from the bigger one to the smaller one, they will walk in one single file, a line, and that single file line, it's actually educated to us that when you have to do something, do it correct. Don't take shortcuts. Don't take burns, because once you take burns, you might not know exactly what is waiting for you on the other side. Learning it from the elephant and coming to hear about it today on the daily African proverbs, it just clicked my mind that in our life as well as human beings, it's always better if we do understand where we are going and where we are coming from. Because if you are taking that thread, as you are using it on that mirror, as soon as you make a burn or you make a turn, that means your whole life is completely on the opposite direction. It's completely on a mess. So let's encourage each other. Let's make sure that we stay motivated by being correct and being straightforward. I thank you.
Thank you very much, my brother Joseph Kafunda. I appreciate you for sharing with us your perspectives on this proverb. And I also want to welcome everyone who is joining us for the first time for the Daily African Proverbs. This is a sacred space for me and for many people who have been a part of this community since January last year when we started it. And I invite you to ping in other people, 3 to 5 people here on Clubhouse. Share this conversation through the share button on the bottom left corner. Clip this conversation using that scissors button, here on Clubhouse, and share it on Twitter and use the hashtag Daily African Proverbs. If you are watching on YouTube, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you click the thumbs up button so that when we are having this conversation in the future, you can be notified by YouTube. I want to thank everybody who has contributed, and I can't wait to hear what the next speaker, Dr. Node, is off, and Marla and Davon and the wonderful Angry Medium is going to share. And thank you all so much. Let's hear from Dr. Node is off.
Hey, Simon, can you go to the next person? Come back to me, please. I will be ready then.
Oh, no problem. Hey, Marla, thank you again for your continued support. You are one of my favorite people, not just on this app, but just in this world. Since we connected, I've really appreciated the support you've given the Daily African Proverbs. So, so much love and blessings to you. Share with us your perspectives, please.
Good morning, great day, depending on where you are, grand rising, all of those beautiful salutations to each of you in the room. Simon, I love you and will continue to support you in whatever capacity that I can. And I've just loved to hear everyone's perspective. And in doing so, I kind of pulled back. And for me, where I sit with this beautiful Kenyan proverb is that sometimes I'm the thread and sometimes I'm the needle. And it is important to know your function so that you can be aligned with your purpose. And so, as much as the needle follows as much as the thread follows the path of the needle, knowing what you are in that moment, in that situation, will give you the wisdom, the guidance, the fortitude to know how to navigate it and what your role is. Sometimes we are thread acting like needles, right? Sometimes we are being led somewhere, but the leadership attributes and things in us rise, but we're unwilling to submit to the assignment and vice versa. And that taking a moment, taking a beat, taking a breath, reading the room, tapping into spirit, asking for direction, awaiting clarity and confirmation can totally transform relationships, but from the entry point of you. Because so often we see things and it's easy to forget that wherever we are, there we are, that we bring into each situation our perspectives, our situation. So I have not raised children. So those beautiful perspectives from all the parents, I could understand them. They just weren't my experience. So what it really steeps in this experience for me is proper people placement and proper placement of myself and understanding the role, or even you could be serving both functions in the situation, but understanding what you are in service to so that that you can honor it and that you can stay in integrity. This is Marla. I'm complete and I'll be listening. Thank you.
You're most welcome, Marla. Thank you so much for your perspectives. And, I want to go ahead and pass the microphone to Nasir. Thank you so much, Nasir, for being here with us. I appreciate it. What are your perspectives on today's Kenyan proverb? The proverb says, a thread follows the path of the needle. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Simon, for the opportunity, and I really appreciate what you are really doing to the African culture. As I'm interested in culture, so I feel that this proverb is not only represents Kenya, but it represents Africa and represent the whole world. Because we might not say the same proverb in a country, but the meaning is still there. Okay, so I would think of it as a warning, because people there have said enormous things. So I would think of it like warning, I would think of the needle as a more role model, so people would follow. And I would think of it as, as if someone telling you're there, you should take care of your steps, because there would be consequences of every step you take. So this is just what I wanted to say, and thank you, Simon, and thanks for everybody here.
Wonderful, Nasir. Thank you so much for sharing your perspectives, and feel welcome. Join us again from Monday to Friday next week. We don't do the Daily African Proverbs on Saturday and Sunday, but tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we have an amazing event in the Africa Day Club. I wonder if you've all been following what's going on in the Africa Day Club. It's the club where Africa Day celebration last year was held. And the topic tomorrow is this the second scramble for Africa? We will be watching a short documentary from the BBC. If you want to watch it, let me know and I'll send the link to you so that you watch it before the room. But we will just be looking at what's going on in Africa with the current Chinese colonization of Africa and also European recolonization of Africa, and we will discuss it. So that's the topic. Feel free to join us. And now we want to move on to Davon. Davon, thank you again for your consistency. It means a lot. What's your perspective on today's proverb?
Hello, good day, everyone. Um, I've been listening. I didn't join this time at exactly 9 o'clock, but for those who I've heard and listened to, I'm I'm in the point of receiving a lot of lessons in this very moment. So I appreciate all of those who've spoken before me. Um, what I want, what really resonates with me, and what I want to, just I guess elaborate on a little bit further is what Jarrell and Marla was saying. Because for me, this proverb, it speaks on the generations before us, including our ancestors. And there's sort of this like dance of the leading and the following. And so, you know, with the guidance of, and teachings of our family members and loved ones who are here with us, and those who are with us in spirit, there's sort of a, I'm not even sure how to say it, but there's like with the thread of life that happens, and with the cycles that, the thread loops around, um, there's a lesson, and there's teachings, and there's receivings in all of it through the loops, and tying things together, and just living and living in this beautiful journey that we call life. And with that, I'm complete.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Davon, for your perspectives. I am grateful. And I do want to go back to Dr. No Days Off. He could not speak earlier. And then I'll come to Aminata. Then we'll continue on to, the Angry Medium, Kate. And then we'll go to Oliver. And soon we'll be to Afi and Elliot before that. Thank you all for being here with us. This is the Daily African Proverbs. We host this conversation Monday to Friday at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and 5 p.m. East African Time. So join us, and all these conversations are on YouTube as well. We are live there right now, but previous conversations are there, and you can always leave a comment there. And Dr. No Days Off leaves some of the most inspiring and also thought-provoking comments on YouTube. So if you want to, tune in over there and also read some of his comments, you'll really appreciate it. Dr. No Days Off, again, thank you for your continued support. Share with us your thoughts.
Well, thanks, Simon. I appreciate that. I really enjoy, well, you already know, I really enjoy the African, the Daily African Proverbs, because to me it is a way for Black Americans to connect back to their ancestral roots in Africa, and I think we should do that on a consistent basis. Now this proverb right here is very interesting to me, and for those that don't know me, I'm a practitioner scholar in executive leadership. I hold a doctoral in executive leadership and various leadership studies and things of that nature. But anyways, when I read this proverb, the first thing I was thinking about is an organization following a leader. That's the first thing that came to my head, is because the thread is the organization, right? And the needle is the leader. The leader, the movement of the leader. If you watch, you ever use a needle and thread, which I think some of us have, or most of us have actually seen the movement of a needle with a thread moving with a needle. you know, eh, the way the needle moves and how the needle moves in the end, when the needle is finished moving, or the sewer has finished the pattern using the needle, then the thread that how it's woven, how it's put together is it there comes the beauty of it, right? So in putting that with leadership, how the needle, the leader who is the needle moves, and the way it moves creates the beauty of an organization. I always say, when it comes to leadership, when it comes to organizations, you hear in the news today of all these organizations that or that people thought at one time were great organizations, but then come to find out that a lot of discrimination and racism and sexism and stuff was involved in these organizations, and people are shocked and amazed by it. And then, I look back and I say, well, I'm not shocked and amazed by it, because if you watch the leader, if you notice, before the organization went into the news with all this negativity, the the leader was in the news, with some kind of negativity that actually related to what was going on in the organization. So, I always say, well, there should be no surprise that the organization operates this way, because because the leader operates this way. So, and at one point, society will hold a person in high regards in leadership because of the fact that they made a lot of money, or they started a large organization and all this stuff. But and I always say that doesn't make a leader. The amount of money that they have doesn't make them a leader. It just makes them the ability to earn a lot of money, right? So you got to understand that and this proverb helps me think that when the way you move as a leader affects your organization, affects your followers. Also, the way you move as a leader of your family affects your family. So uh, I know a lot of people talking about the kids and parents with the relation to their kids. Think about it that way too. And that's something that we don't do. That I'm not gonna say we don't, but a lot of um, Black Americans don't realize is that everything we do affects our children. And our children are seeing how we move. And when we move a certain way, our children move a certain way. And I know people like myself, all my kids are adults now, but my wife and I, we were aware of that. And I know Simon is aware of that, because he talks about his kids all the time, and how he's a big influence on them. So you got to understand that when you're moving, it doesn't matter. If you don't have kids and you have a brother or sister or family members or anything of that nature, they if you're the leader of them, then the way you move and where you move is how they're going to move too. So keep that in, that keep that in mind, and that's what this proverb means to me. When a thread follows the path of the needle, the needle is the leader, and the thread is the followers of that leader. I turn the platform back over to you, Simon.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dr. No Days Off. I'm grateful. Let's hear from Aminata. Aminata, thank you for being patient. I'm grateful.
Hi, Simon. Thank you for having me. For this proverb, a thread follows the path of a needle is very powerful. I think, the doctor shared a lot of what I was going to state based on my opinion of this, because it is powerful on how you lead, and people will follow that because, in my opinion, I think your energy and your health can be contagious to others. So people will follow, and they would not listen to you, but they would observe you and just watch your actions. That is like one of the strengths we have as human beings. So I think what the doctor was sharing was it resonates a lot with me, because a lot of us, we do behave that way by just following another human's behavior, especially if you are a child or if you are in a professional workplace. So he really was able to cover a lot of what I was going to share. So I don't want to sound, repetitive or just to repeat what he was saying. But I think most of what he shared was definitely my mindset and what I was going to bring to this conversation. So, Simon, those are my thoughts. And thank you for having me. And I'm done speaking.
Thank you so much, Aminata, for your continued support. I truly, truly appreciate it. And thank you for, your beautiful and inspiring perspectives as well. Let's hear from the Hungry Media, my wonderful sister, Kat. I hope you're doing well. And I can't wait for us to host you as our guest on the 18th of January. I think that's next week on Tuesday. So if you want to learn more, join us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Simon. It's so great to be here. I see a lot of great people on stage here with me. Marla, Davon. Hi, everyone. I know you end at a very specific time, Simon. I have to run to work, but I love this proverb because there's one in Yoruba as well. It's very similar in our tradition, and it says something like the needle pulls the thread. And it's usually told to someone in an Odu, what they call Odu. Those are like letters of your life, letters of parts of your life. And it really speaks to um, breaking through and being that person in your family to lead the others on a new path or lead others on a path of spirituality in your family line. Like in my family, no one practiced Yoruba except for my brother, and he passed away. So then it's like, well, who will continue this tradition of Black Americans from the South here with this African tradition? And that's usually my role. So I'm here to pull all my family, anyone who wants to come with me through this journey back to where we came from in regards to our original African spiritual traditions. So thank you so much, Simon. I'm glad to see once again the similarities across the diaspora.
Thank you very much. I truly appreciate that comparison and your perspective. And I also really appreciate your leadership, on this platform. And I can't wait for our in-depth conversation on Tuesday. For those who are here for the first time, I host amazing guests. Almost every week I have different guests here on the Daily African Proverbs. And when I host the guests, they're also live with me on YouTube. And so on Tuesday, if you want to learn more about, the amazing Hungry Medium, who is a leader on this platform, really, join us. Thank you again. Now we want to go to Oliver. Oliver, share with us your perspectives on this Kenyan proverb. Thanks a lot.
All right. Hello and good evening to everybody here. It's been interesting. Today is my first day actually on this platform, and I've had a lot of insightful conversations just thrown at me for free. In terms of this proverb, it kind of reminds me of an Akan proverb. And one thing I realize about African proverbs, it's in every context, it has something to teach you. So it's just like one sentence and a very good book. So everybody, depending on your perspective, can have something to take away from it. And I think I agree with some of the speakers who said this is a proverb about leadership, because whether it's family in an organization, in the Akan proverb, for example, says Odishia and Kwa, which basically means if the leader runs, so does the followers. And that is in a context of war. And so that is how I see this. I mean, if you look at the needle and the thread, the needle makes the path for the thread. And so in a situation where the needle is pointed in the right direction, you can expect that the thread goes in that direction, and vice versa. I won't take too much time because I think that is exactly what some people have articulated already. But that I do agree with that point of view, that it is a question of a statement of leadership. At least for me, it resonates very much with that for me. And thanks you. I want to hear other speakers speak. Thank you.
Oh, you're most welcome. I truly appreciate your perspectives and for sharing with us your traditions and your culture and how it relates to today's proverb from Kenya. I do want to welcome everyone who is here for the first time, and also everyone who is new to the Clubhouse platform, like my friend and my brother Carlton, who is joining us from Nairobi. And now I want us to continue on, but I want to remind you, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel so that when we have this conversation in the future, you are able to be notified by YouTube. And if you're on Clubhouse, please remember to follow the African Father in America Club and also nominate some people to join the club. Thank you again so much. Now let's move to Elliot. Elliot is another amazing leader on this platform. In fact, I'm supposed to be a guest on his club very soon. I've been under the weather, for a little bit, since this year began. So I'm just fighting it. I'm almost ready to be interviewed, my brother. So you'll have me as a guest very soon. The microphone is yours.
Awesome. Thank you, Simon. Good to see you. And I hope you're feeling better. When I first saw the proverb on Instagram, the first thing that came to mind was the idea of be a needle. If the thread follows the path of the needle, be a needle, But then listening to folks, so many other perspectives really stuck out. And I just took some quick notes I'll share. I can't remember exactly what she said, but something from Marla made me think, be careful what needles you follow. And then something Dr. Wanda said was a needle can repair or it can create something new. And, I think back to the leadership perspective, I think that's really important for us to keep in mind uh, in terms of the different possibilities we have from a creative perspective. Um, Dr. No Days Off left me with something I didn't expect, um, or I just hadn't thought of at all. It's easy to look at the proverb as something very simple about, the follower follows the leader, but there's something unique about needle and thread. The needle does its work, carves its path, but the thread stays behind. The needle eventually goes away. We cut the thread and the work of the needle has been done. And I thought that was very insightful because while we are in that leadership position, we want to keep in mind that some of the effects of our work are going to be permanent, and we want to be mindful. Um, and last thing was from Aminata, the idea that we don't always know what threads are following us, and so we sometimes have followers that are observing us and doing what we just like children. Often they do what we do, not do what we say, and so we need to be mindful that people are watching and people are following our lead, even if we aren't intending to. So, just a few thoughts that came to mind. Thank you so much, Simon.
Oh, you're most welcome. Thank you again for being here, and congratulations on your Clubhouse 1 year anniversary. Thank you again. Afi is another amazing leader on this platform, and a leader when it comes to African languages. Afi, what are your perspectives on this proverb?
Yeah, thank you so much for welcoming me, Simon. So, when I think of this proverb, so I am a seamstress, right? I sew, do alterations and that sort of thing. And when I think about the proverb, I think about who is moving the needle. Who's moving the needle and the thread. Um, and I guess my concentration was on the, I guess, quote unquote, like a named seamstress or tailor that is moving this thread and needle, and the type of idea or vision they have for what the needle and thread are being moved for. So um you know I kind of linked the thread or needle mover, or yeah, or seamstress or tailor, whatever you want to call it. I linked it with God, or who or whatever we allow um to have that sort of position in our lives or influence in our lives. So I'm just asking myself these questions like, sorry, I have a dog. Asking these questions like, who do we allow to be that seamstress or needle mover in our lives? What are we allowing, to do that for us? And I think we have to keep in mind not every, I guess, seamstress or tailor has the same skills. Not You need to have a capable and competent seamstress or tailor, or else that would, impact your work, or it will always reflect on your work. Who is moving it for you? And that doesn't just have to be God, but it can be people, like the things, that you allow to have that influence in your life, you know. And I think we need to remember the needle isn't just moving to nothingness, but it has a goal and a project, and that the person, that is moving the needle and the thread, like that is what they're led by. That's the end goal. So it's like a mission driven type of occurrence, or practice. And I'm thinking like the thread is joined to the needle through a hook. you know that is what joins the thread to the needle, whether it's on a machine or a single needle. So I'm thinking, how strong is that bond and influence of whatever it is that's leading you in that path? And I'm also thinking there's different types of needles and different types of threads that are appropriate for different types of fabrics or projects. So there's that nuance there as well. But lastly, the final result of whatever you are, whatever's being made, that's going to be like other people are going to be able to see that as well, and it may influence their work as well. So yeah, just the intentionality and strategy behind the needle and the thread. That's a particular part of this that draws me. But thank you for providing the space for this discussion.
Thank you so much, Afi. I just love, your perspectives, and I appreciate you for all the wonderful rooms you host here on Clubhouse around the importance of African languages. And we are going to continue on. We are just a little over the regular time that we stay here for the Daily African Proverbs. We normally end at exactly 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So we want to move on to Uriel. Uriel, thank you for being here with us. And before I come to you, Sensors, when you have your moment, please also speak about tomorrow's Africa Day session. Uriel, share with us your perspective on today's proverb. Thank you so much.
Highest heart love and gratitude to the room. This is just a beautiful share and build. Um, that proverb really resonates with me when you're thinking about sound and pitch. The more focused the energy, the more narrow the path, and so that needle comes in at a particular area. We have to, when it comes to acupuncture, right, or healing the body, we have to look at ourselves as being that needle. That thread comes along with us, but we have to know what is tied to us, right? And this is that thread. We're that needle, and so we look at our cycle, how well we are, and that goes to the meridians, right? And it displays our internal needle. That's our meridians are literally like our internal needle. Liver, lungs, large intestine, stomach, spleen, heart, small intestine, urinary bladder, kidney, pericardium, triple warmer, gallbladder, and back to liver. It how well are each parts of those internally, how functional is that leader? What area is it leading? And what is the goal that they're leading to? So that's exactly how it resonates with me. Internally, like the previous speakers said, it's just such a wonderful build as well, because the children are always watching us. They watch every single thing we do, period. They see how we move, how we dress, what words we use, how we treat others, how we love ourselves, what rituals we implore into our body, as well as what we extend out to the world around us. So it's just wonderful shares, and I just believe that we are really doing such a great job showing the new generation what we're doing, and that's because of you, Simon. Really, people like you and in this room. So I love you guys. Highest heart love to everyone. Peace.
Peace to you. Thank you so much for your amazing, share as well. And, for all that you do, I was able to just check your profile briefly, and I followed you. And also to everyone in the room, this Sunday at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, I'm hosting an amazing Instagram Live conversation, which is going to be a series from this Sunday. And I've gathered a community of fitness coaches from across the African diaspora. There's one from Tanzania who is a street workout coach. His name is Zola. He's a celebrated fitness leader. There are people here in Seattle, there are people in Philadelphia, Michigan, there are people also in Kenya, and we'll be gathering, and just having a conversation around the importance of a healthy lifestyle, of staying fit, of eating well, and I'll be, recording that for the daily African Proverbs as well. But I'll be sharing with all these, learners like me, and also some of these fitness coaches about how my week was. They'll be sharing how their week was, and then we'll be talking about the following week and some of the things that you can practice. So join us. It will be like a a little accountability community that we want to build about staying fit. Now we want to wrap up our conversation today by hearing from Sensas Loliong, who is an amazing leader and has been an amazing contributor to the growth of the Africa Day Club. And Sensas, I want you to speak about today's proverb and also speak about tomorrow's conversation in the Africa Day Club. Thank you very much.
Hi, Simon. Hi, everyone on stage. Great to see you all, and to all listeners of the Daily Africa Proverbs Room. First, I want to apologize. I was supposed to open the new year, and in all truth and honesty, I thought I knew who was leading I knew the needle I was following as the thread, only to find out that my needle had other plans beyond my ability. And so it took over me, and I couldn't be available at that time. And I think this is my way of also discussing the proverb, which is that sometimes we are not aware we could be the thread following a needle, or we are woven into a needle, but we are not aware of what kind of cloth the needle is sewing. And it's either the needle breaks, which means we as a thread get stuck in between, or the needle just isn't effective anymore. And as a thread, we continue to remain stuck in a specific space that we're not able to go into or get out of. And that is really my breakdown of the proverb. So it's and I'll just put forward to everyone that take time to understand the needle that you're using. If you are the holder of the needle, be very specific of how you are using that needle. If you are the thread, have a good idea of what needle you're getting into and the type of clothes you're trying to weave it into. After this, I would like to just give a breakdown of our discussion on Africa Day. Africa Day coming tomorrow, we will be discussing the second scramble of Africa. It will be happening at 11 a.m. Central Time. If you go under my profile, you see the Africa Day Club, and you will see that schedule. So just click on the bell, follow the club, and click on the bell, so you will get an update the moment it starts. What is the second scramble of Africa? Well, for most of us who've gone through history, first scramble led to the division of Africa in the Berlin Conference, right, where we were demarcated to belong to specific colonial masters or owners or groups. The second scramble are now other entities that exist. This could be countries, this could be powerful organizations, this could be companies who have found their way into Africa and are in a way demarcating their control over certain aspects of Africa, whether it's looking at those who are leading the resource age and acquiring all the mining rights for specific minerals that are important for the future that Africa, the world is moving into, or whether it's those who are in the battle for the waters. And to those who don't know, we have a huge Nile conflict that is arising every now and then, and it's going to continue where certain groups want to control the Nile over others and have support from international bodies. And last but not least is now understanding how the Gulf states are starting to have a hold over specific entities in Africa, um, whether they are providing arms to organizations, to military groups, to government to fight and protect resources they need, or whether they are using other type of modalities to implant fundamentalist ideologies. And also, it could be groups that have seen Africa as a hub to be used in the future of the technology war. And so, for instance, for those who don't know, a lot of Chinese entities divert their IP addresses to go through Africa when they are committing criminal activities or going into pornography sites or just things that can be tracked. It ends up leading it and stating that this activity is actually happening from Africa. So there is also the space war, which is companies that are going up trying to see how do they take control of a space of Africa, whether it's Google with its satellites or the Starlinks that are operating, or all the different entities. And the sad part is in most of this, Africa doesn't have a very strong presence or control. So that is what we'll be discussing. It is a lot, I know, because our continent is big and there is a lot going on. I welcome all of you to that discussion. Thank you so much, Simon, for giving me this opportunity. I am complete.
Thank you so much, Sensors, and thank you to each and every one of you on Clubhouse who made today's conversation possible, and also to everybody who is watching on YouTube. Thank you so much, and for those who will be watching or listening later, today has been an amazing conversation here in the Daily African Proverbs, and we've really learned a lot. We've been discussing, and our discussion has been around this Kenyan proverb that says, "A thread follows the path of the needle." I feel that this is one of Kenya's greatest proverbs. If you think so, or if you disagree, let me know in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube. And really, if you're still here with us on Clubhouse, thank you again, and see you tomorrow for the Africa Day conversation, or see you next week on Monday, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time to Friday, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for more Daily African Proverbs. As usual, the hope is that these conversations allow us to, make our ancestors smile and make them proud, knowing that the proverbs that they created are still being put into use, not just now, but even our children will be using them because we are documenting and recording them every day. So thank you and have a beautiful, beautiful day.
African father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. African father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javon.